Morning. Tuesday today, and the sun's shining for once. So yeah, had a busy day yesterday. We were finally got my cows into the market, and then brought this bunch up from the warehouse. Christ, they were awkward to load. They didn't want to go in the trailer to get them up here, but yeah, as soon as you bring them up into this yard, they look quite small, but they look big down in that calf shed. I opted to, because there was 12 in this bunch. I wanted to keep them together in a bunch really, but I think 12 was going to be a bit much for this shed. It was a bit of a drastic decrease in pen size from what they've had. So I left, how many have I got here? 10. I left 2 down there, put them with the 4 suckler calves that were in here, and 3 longhorn ones, but I'll show you that in a minute. I tried to pick out the smallest ones to leave down there, but I think that one at the end probably should have stayed. There was one that ended up, I think they got mixed up. The bloody things, as soon as you start trying to get them in the trailer, they all went a bit mad. I haven't got a decent loading setup down in that warehouse really. I need to think of something a bit better really. At the moment I've just got a load of gates tied up with string, and as soon as if they try and push through one of them, they all just fall over. So yeah, they're just settling in. They're going to get a bit of a shock in here because it's going to be a lot colder, and they haven't got as much space, so just giving them as much corn as they were getting. Also, they're only going to get corn once a day, because I only corn these once a day. If I start doing these twice a day, that's just going to upset all them. So they've had their whole day's ration in one go. Yeah, and this second cut silage is very wet. I mean, there was nothing I could have done about it. I didn't have the time, the weather, or the dry ground to be able to mess about and get it drier, but yeah, it's certainly going to mean I'm going to get through a lot more straw. It makes sense really to use the second cut stuff first. Yeah, and get rid of some straw, and then I've got sheds free to put stuff inside, rather than leaving it till last. But I am going to run out of straw, because it's almost, I would say it's probably going to double the amount of straw that I'm going to have to use. It's just mad, isn't it? Just for the sake of the silage being wet. So yeah, I've got to go and empty a horse muck trailer today with shaving, so I might try and make use of that in the passageway. So yeah, so a bit of a busy day, moving things around. I got the cart, I'll show you in a minute in the warehouse what I've done down there. But yeah, it's just nice to have a bit of nice weather, isn't it? We had rain yesterday, so the yard's mushy and wet. So cows didn't do very well in the market. I don't know why. They were good fleshy animals, and they had fat and meat on them, apart from the oldest one. But bloody hell, I had a look at the market reports, in the Farmers Weekly, and they were well below what they should have been. Terrible really. I don't know if it's because of Christmas, the Christmas trade, or what it was, but I find livestock markets do seem to screw you over until they know who you are. I don't know if it's the buyers or the auctioneers or what, but in my experience, if you're like starting up, first generation farmer, and you're starting up and you're trying to use markets, the markets are the bane of your life, because they're just so horrendous to deal with. If they don't know who you are, they treat you like dirt, really. And I've seen it before. I've been studying my local market, and I've seen people turn up and they very clearly don't know, they're in an alien environment. They've maybe come from miles away, or they've come from the first time, because markets are few and far between now. And you can see them turn up and they're looking around looking for staff. They don't know what the system is, they don't know what to do, and all the staff just disappear. They actively avoid them. And when you do deal with them, some of the staff are horrendously rude. And then when you come to sell, if you're not stood there with your animals, which a lot of the time you don't have time to be, because can be a whole day thing, really, if you take selling animals in your market. One argument is, well, if you've kept the animal for 12 months, 2 years or whatever, you can spend the day to stay with it, but that's not always viable, is it? Because sometimes, people have got jobs to go to, or they've got a farm to get back to. So if you just drop something off in a market and you don't stand with it, they will screw you over. It's like they know, the buyers know, the auctioneers know that it's no one special. If it's someone that sells regularly, they won't sell something for a bad price, because they know they don't want to upset the regular customer. Whereas if it's just some unknown person who's driven halfway across the country, then they'll just screw you. And it's a real shame, because it just makes it really difficult to get into. You've got to start somewhere, haven't you? But I suppose that's life, isn't it? You've got to work your way up. I must say, it does seem to be getting, where I go selling sheep, it seems to be getting easier now, and I seem to be getting more consistent prices the more I go, and because I've been going for years, they've got to know me. But they are a funny lot. So yeah, it took a bit of a hit on those cows, but I had no choice, really. They had to go. I was getting too congested, and I didn't want to end up with too big a gap. Kim! In between my calves. I want to get another bunch of calves in, really. The calves that were in the calf pens were just getting in a right mess, and they were getting too big for the calf pens. From now on, it should be straightforward. It should just be calves and stalls, and not which should be quite easy to manage on my own. I think I'm going to make an effort to try and buy a bit of a better quality calf, because I've got one in that warehouse that I don't know whether is worth keeping, really. I don't think it's going to do anything, and you'll end up putting the same amount into it, but you'll only get probably a third back in the end, so you probably won't even break even. So it's a hard decision, really. Still got a few in here that want de-horning. They're in probably a bit of more of an awkward place to do it now, but we can still set up a crush here. But they do want de-horning, because they're going to get to the point where they're going to start struggling to get their heads through barriers. So I should need to do that. Anyway, we'll go down to the warehouse and I'll show you what I've done down there. If you were wondering, yeah, this is my stack of first cut bales, which are mostly green wrap. I've used a whole row out the top. Well, I've used the whole row basically, yeah, out of them already. And that's lovely dry stuff, really nice quality stuff. And then my other pile, which is down where I built that new road, they're all black wrap. And my second cut, and I've probably got, now with what I've used out of here, I've probably got about twice as much second cut as I've got first cut left. So it's gonna be all, and it's all very similar. There'll be the odd dry bale in it, but it's all together wetter stuff, and it was cut 3 weeks later than we wanted to, so the quality's not really there. So I might have to sort of buffer the everything with a bit more barley probably, just to keep everything growing. Yeah, so this is my youngest bunch now. Put them in, or made this pen here last night. I had 3 here before and a little pen there, which are these longhorn things here with the white on them. So they've gone in there. They desperately need bedding up, but they've gone in there with 2 that were like, that's one big one there that stood behind this white one. 2 of the original ones that are in there, and then the 4 suckler calves. And then I've opened this up, and then all the calves that were in these pens here have gone into there. And yeah, they were happy to be moved. They looked really happy last night when we let them in here. They haven't done brilliantly. Part of it is it's been horrific weather really. They haven't stopped coughing really the whole time I've had them. We've had some really damp, humid, still weather. We have had a lot of windy weather as well, but on the whole it's not been a great sort of 8 weeks for rearing calves. And also the quality of the stock that I bought wasn't great. I didn't pay a lot of money for them. There's one there, this one here, that I just don't know whether is gonna do. It was the same size as all the others. Well, it wasn't even the smallest when I got it, and it drunk milk every day. And yeah, the 2 that are in the pen with it grew and grew and grew, and that one just didn't grow at all. And it was drinking. I don't think it's been eating, even though it stood at the trough eating now. When it was in the pens, I hardly ever saw it eating calf feed. It would get up to drink its milk, and then it would pretty much just lie straight back down again. So I don't know what to do. You know, it's already had its initial investment with milk put in it, but whether it'll do a bit better in a bigger pen, or whether it's just worth cutting your losses, I don't know. It's always a hard decision to make. So anyway, yeah, it's given me a bit of space, so I need to get this all mucked out, which I'll hopefully do today, without knocking the wall down. That wall's not very strong. And then I would like to pressure wash it out, but I don't know whether it's a good idea, because this whole shed, because it was a greenhouse, is built on a slope, because these things here are the gutters, and so the whole shed has to be on a slope for the gutters to work. So if I wash these out, the water's all going to go to that end, which is where I've got all my straw piled. So I don't know whether, I mean, it's not, even if I just wash the walls off, it's not going to use a huge amount of water. So I don't know whether to just do it, close my eyes and let it go, or whether to make a bit of a dam with with a bit of muck or some sandbags or something, just hold the water here and just let it soak away before it gets to the straw. I don't know, you might think I'm talking absolute nonsense, but it just seems a bit daft to wash a load of straw towards a straw pile. But judging by how well these have done, i.e. not very well, I wouldn't mind just sort of washing the pens off and starting again really, but don't know, we'll see whether I get time. Hopefully these sucklers will settle down. They're not very happy being weaned, but once they get used to eating a bit of corn, they should be alright. If anything, I think they'll do better, because they haven't done very, the suckler cows didn't do very well this year. I don't know whether the wet weather's just caused the cows to not produce as much milk, or what it was. I think they'll actually do better in here. I mean, everything does well in this shed generally, once they get away from the you know, the pneumonia stage, because it's warm in here. So I think they'll do well in here, and then they'll get another shock when they go back up into the top yard. It's always the way. I don't know whether to I should be thinking about trying to put a few more sort of wind breaks and stuff up in the top yard sheds, really. Seems counterproductive, you spend your time trying to make sure stuff's ventilated. But I don't know, yeah, I'm rambling on now. Quite satisfying leaf blowing, actually. I quite enjoy it. My grandparents couldn't stand the things. Said you should just use a rake. What's wrong with a rake and a pair of big hands? But you end up on gravel ground, you end up raking up all your stones, don't you? But yeah, it's just dead handy because it just gets very muddy round here with all these gravel paths. I have to walk that trolley around. It's just I've had that leaf blower 2 years, I think, now. It just keeps the mud down, where you're having to walk over and over again through your leaves and whatever. Trouble is, if it's any kind of wet, like the bits that are in puddles, yeah, you're wasting your time really. It's got to be dry. So if a load of leaves come down and then you drive over it a few times, and then it rains for a few days, you're wasting your time because it's all just pressed into the stones anyway. yeah, just done a bit of washing in here. Decided in the end, well, what I did was, I can't see really much now because it's dark, but I drilled a hole in the wall there and put a couple of sandbags to catch the water. And I've just got all where these pens were washed all the wall off, and these calf hurdles. So yeah, it worked quite well actually. I mean, the hole in the wall kept blocking up, but I think the majority of the water went outside rather than down towards the straw. So I think it did actually work. I'm quite pleased it all washed off. You should get it washed off before it dries on. It's a lot easier. So yeah, hopefully it'll dry out now before the end of the week, and we can get some more cars in. So yeah, these sucklers have been bawling like mad, non-stop. Yeah, I've got a lot of respect for suckler farmers to put up with all the bloody miver of weaning calves and cattle and dealing with all that bloody noise. Just, I don't know what it is. My neighbour next door, he tends to wean his cattle in the field right behind our house. Oh, it keeps me up all night with them bawling. I don't know what it is. There's something about this sound of weaned calves bawling all night. I can't sleep. But yeah, there's a lot of work. I've got a lot of respect for people that do it. It's a lot of work for, well, from my experience, not a lot of return. But if you're set up for it, you've got the setup and you've got the land and the handling systems, then, you know, fair play to you. It's not, there's a lot of work involved, so, you know, I got a lot of respect for these suckler people. But yeah, hopefully in another day or so they'll settle down. So yeah, while I was at it, I just give the JCB a bit of a swill off. So yeah, another day's gone. It's dark again. It's actually not rained all day. It's been really clear, so it's probably going to be a bit frosty tonight maybe. So yeah, another little one hopefully. Yeah. So yeah, thanks for watching. Bye for now.